Hey, everybody. John here. I have Aaron here, our team member. We have some pretty darn exciting news. Aaron's from Grand Junction, Colorado, and we put something together for you folks that I haven't announced to anybody, but we're going to go over it today. What we've done is put together a massive search engine optimization playbook course training. And when I first heard SEO way back, it's been about a decade, Aaron and I have been in this space as well. My eyes glazed over and I went, SEO, that doesn't sound very sexy. It sounds kind of techy. But I started peeling back the layers of an onion, with it a little bit and did a little research on it when I was exposed to it. And I realized this is unbelievable information to know. I don't care what business you're in. It actually started blowing my mind of learning and researching the tactics of search engine optimization for my business and creating a whole other business outside of it, that I felt like I was in a secret society getting inside information. Did it feel like that for you as well, Aaron? It just kind
Oh,
of felt like,
absolutely.
yeah, it felt like we were learning these secrets of nobody does it. Nobody knows these tactics. Like the general public does not know what we dug up, right? So I'll back up a little further. Y'all know me as doing pallets and everything. Well, with pallets, I would always end up being done at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 in the morning, and I would go sneak off and play golf, and then I'd play more golf and play more golf. Well, Melissa, my wife, ended up catching on at some point, and she said, "Do you really got to play golf 3 times a week? Couldn't you do something more productive with your free time?" So that's when I was kind of piddling around and came across search engine optimization. This is about the building of websites and ranking them on page one on Google. And I dove deep. And then Aaron dove deep as well on this incredible way of getting eyeballs on your business. And it allowed me to create all different new revenue streams. So that's the background of how I even dove into this. But first, Aaron, it's been what, a decade, I guess we've been in here, this space. Tell us a little bit about
Yes.
how
Yes.
you got into it as well, since you are going to be the one actually teaching the folks that participate in this training.
Yeah, it's been almost 10 years. I was working like 65, 70, sometimes 80-hour work weeks at my
I
9 to 5
remember.
job. I was pregnant. My daughter was born 2 months prematurely, and I couldn't go on working like that anymore. And so I was desperate to find something that I could do from home.
Mm,
Um, the doctors all said she couldn't go to daycare. Nannies were crazy expensive. We were trying
mm,
to figure out how we were going to make all of this happen. And I started kind of digging around online, like, what can I do work from home? And it was either like, make phone calls and be kind of like a telemarketer, or
mm,
I somehow stumbled across SEO, and it was really appealing to me. One, because it was something different. I had no
mm.
idea that like people even did SEO on their websites. I just assumed that Google just popped up magically, like I had no idea what it was. I didn't even know how to build a website when I
Mhm,
kind of started, like you said, peeling the layers back and finding out more and more. And it would just became really just interesting and challenging. It was something
mhm,
fun to do. Like, oh, I can go out and beat this business and find out what this competitor is doing and beat them. I've always been pretty competitive.
mhm.
But what I really liked about it was being able to help local businesses. And I think that was kind of what really drew me in. Oh, I can actually help somebody else who's trying, who's struggling to get customers to come in and keep their local business open. So that was
I
kind
remember that really takes me back to when I first, you remember I did that. There's a lot of different methods, folks, to making money with SEO, right? You can help other businesses with their website because it stinks. They don't know what they're doing. You can help your customers with websites, right? But then there's this other area that I was going to leave for later, but there's this other area where I created a AC website for air conditioning. I don't do AC work, right? But I certainly knew how to rank that, learned how to rank that type of site. And I would lease that traffic that site generated to, actually, it was my neighbor that owned a air conditioning business. Now, I owned the site, understand that, right? And I started shoving all that traffic to them. And I remember getting a call, they all had their own site, everything like that. And I got a call from them and they go, John, how are you doing this? How are you getting all these leads? Because they were getting some unbelievable leads. Dick's Sporting Goods. Remember, all the stores in Dick's Sporting Goods in Alabama called my website and I'm handing it over to them. And they were just flabbergasted about how the traffic for their business increased so much to the point where they were begging me to help them with their site at that point as well. And to get that validation of the work and the knowledge you learned that actually impacts somebody's life to that degree is incredible. The other example was a brick mason site that I built. I found out that the person that I ended up using to send those brick mason leads, they were on the verge of bankruptcy before I came along. And I pulled them out of that and their business flourished because I learned these tactics. And Aaron, I'm sure you have examples as well of that validation of learning this material.
Absolutely.
It's so satisfying. Go ahead.
No, just one example off the top of my head, especially around Christmas time, I have a bunch of contractors who I have built
Mm-hmm.
lead generation or money sites for like that. And I'll get texts around Christmas time. I was able to give all of my employees bonuses because of the amount of business that you've been able to bring into me this year. Just different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had one guy, he was really struggling for a long time. We worked out a deal to where he was just paying anytime he got a job and actually got paid for it, he would pay me a commission. So he wasn't having
Right.
to pay me up front. It wasn't money out of his coming out of his pocket until he actually got the work done.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he called me one day and said he had landed like a $30,000 job. And I mean, that was so life-changing for him because he, like you said, was on the brink of bankruptcy. So there's so many stories like that. And I think that's why I've stuck with it for so long because we're helping our neighbors.
And the impact of this specific skill set
Yeah,
is probably, I'm not being hyperbolic here. It is the most important skill set you can learn if you own a business because
absolutely.
the impact of it is unbelievable. So one thing we need to focus on, this training that we put together is very detailed and it is work. It is knowledge you have to learn, but it's step by step. We call it a SEO playbook. So we're going to take you step by step through this information where you can build your own site, but not have it languish on page 2, 3, 4, or 5, because there's specific tactics that you're going to learn. Let's go over the first tactic outside of keyword research. I won't get too nerdy on these folks, but I love the concept. Aaron, talk a little bit about spying.
Yeah, so I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard this term or not, but success leaves clues.
Right.
Anytime you find a website that pops up in the search results, I mean, if you think about it, we go to Google, I go to Google several times a day just to look, a service or a product or a business or
Ditto.
information. And the results that pop up, they're there for a reason. They have done something to make Google say, oh, this site needs to pop up first. And so we spend quite a bit of time in this course teaching you how to spy on those competitors. You know, that's basically what they are. If you want to be in that top spot, they're your competition.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of different tools and methods that you can use to figure out exactly what they are doing. And then you go out and do it better. And that's how you end up being able to rank above them eventually.
Yeah, and there's a whole list of things that we're trying to look at. The whole different areas about their online business footprint that we need to know. And when you know that information and when you've gathered it, now since you do know it, we have to learn exactly how to enact those items for our own site. And we're not guessing anymore. That's what I loved about learning this information, this inside kind of information is I don't only have to guess what I have to do. It will be teaching you how to know exactly what you need to do to
Yep.
beat them. It's not guesswork. In fact, we'll even teach you how to overwhelm what they've done to the point where the search engines can't ignore you. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but there's category by category by category by category that we want to just dominate the competition. And let's talk about this, Aaron. Speak a little bit about the tactics are all the same, whether it's a national campaign or a local campaign. But let's just talk about the advantages a little bit of local ranking in a local area compared to a national level.
Well, ranking locally is just way easier. And
Mm-hmm.
most small local businesses still to this day, almost 10 years since we've started doing all of this,
They
still
don't
don't know
know.
how to do SEO. Or they might hire a firm that says they're an SEO firm and they do the same exact thing that they do for every other business that they work with,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't get results. So locally, it's just, especially using all the tactics that we teach in this course and doing it step by step, it's nearly impossible to not be able to rank a website pretty easily, just because there's not a ton of online competition, not a lot of tough competition. So that's what I like the most about working in a local level. It's easy.
And then you move into like service industry and blue collar type, think of the plumber, right?
Right. Hmm.
They have the slightest clue of what to do. They're plumbers, nothing against plumbers. I love plumbers. I need plumbers, but this is not their realm. But
Exactly.
if you are a plumber and have this skill set on top of them not knowing it, it puts you at such an advantage. Tell me this: what's the stat that I don't know if you know the exact stat, but what was the stat of being on page one? What amount of leads, the percentage of leads you get on page one compared to two or three?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty significant. If you're at the top of page one, like the first or second result, you
Mm-hmm.
get at least like 60% of the traffic of people searching for your specific service or product or business. So it's pretty significant.
Here's the other spinoff when we were we were helping people and businesses with this, and we own our own sites that rent out the traffic to actual niches. The feedback we would get again was we're getting such a volume of leads that we're not used to. One, we can expand. That was one option that some people took, some businesses took that we helped. But some of them would say, I can pick and choose which jobs I want to do because they make me the most profit
Yep.
out of all the calls that I'm getting. And I can kick the others to the curb or refer them to somebody else. And it made my life that much easier. What types of jobs make you the most money? I just remembered a landscaping site that we did. You've done landscaping ones.
Mhm.
And the volume of leads that were coming in were crazy.
Oh,
Just
absolutely. Yeah, and especially like a local area, you'll get one landscaper that I worked with, they got like a bank, specific bank like chain that asked them to come and landscape 50 different bank locations around the
yeah.
city. And so they got all of those contracts, and it was on like a monthly contract where they would go and do the maintenance and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, it was life changing for that business. So,
Yeah, apartment complexes they would get. See, they were just trying to do yard, 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 yard. And now it's like she's saying you get Regions Bank and the 50 locations in town. They got all of those in one contract. or an apartment complex. They got the whole property to maintain, hotels. So, but if they were not on the web and they did not know this knowledge and they weren't on page one,
They
you
would have
don't get
never
those
gotten,
calls.
they would have never gotten that call. Exactly. So
And so many people think about, if I build a website, they will come. No, they won't. You might as well be a business card languishing on page 6.
not even
No,
online if you're, yeah, if you're
it's,
down
it's,
at the
it's
bottom of the search results.
you're invisible,
Exactly. Nobody's ever going to know that your website is online.
right?
Unless they have the direct link and you're, sending it out to them that way. But
If you want to actually put a more ease to your life, you learn this type of information for yourself. And the spinoff effect, of course, you can help the businesses that you're working with already. You are latched on and helping them with their business and their website. You're never going to be gotten rid of. The time freedom of now businesses are chasing you instead of you chasing them. The ease of that because you've done this work, time freedom is just exponentially more and in your favor at that point. From now on,
there's a little bit of maintenance,
yeah, it's
but
not crazy.
it's not crazy at all, especially in the local market when you have competitors who are not doing a whole lot and you get yourself to rank above them.
Hmm.
If you follow the way everything that we lay out and you build a really good solid website and it has a really good base for search engine optimization, then a lot of it you really don't have to do a whole lot more than that, which is pretty incredible. And it becomes like your website becomes a 24/7 marketing tool for you that's just at the top of the search results anytime somebody comes in and they're looking for whatever people are looking for. If you followed all the steps and really, taken the tactics and the strategies that we teach in this course, then you're going to get phone call after phone call after phone call from every single person in your area that's looking for what you have to offer. So
Yeah,
pretty,
and then you're in a position to expand, pick and choose your customers, do the jobs you want, uh, sell the additional leads to someone else as well, make a profit on the additional leads that you don't want. So, because those are valuable, get a percentage of the job from somebody else if you hand those extra leads off as well. So, a lot of spin-off money starts to come into play
right.
in
And
it now.
a lot of information out there you don't need. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people tell you, well, you need this tool and this and this and this, and you need to, sign up for this and pay for this and this, and half of it you don't need.
They're
So I
making
think
affiliate commissions on,
a lot of times they are,
yeah.
yeah. They're getting paid if they can talk you into paying for a service or a tool or whatever. None of that is included in this course. It's
Hmm.
because when I started doing it, like I said, I needed something that I could work from home, that I could do to continue bringing in money while I'm trying to take care of my child that I just had. And I was broke. So I couldn't afford to buy all the fancy tools and everything. So I try in this course to teach you guys, if you're on a low budget, there are options. You can pay people to do certain things once you learn how to do it. There's not a ton of extra stuff and extra time, which you keep mentioning. The time freedom, you shouldn't spend 30 minutes analyzing a keyword ranking tool when you can just tell by the number of phone calls you're getting in if is your work effective or not. And a
Right.
lot of people get so wrapped up in, well, that my site's, it's ranking number 4 for this term and number 10 for this. You don't need any of that.
We're breaking this down in what you actually gotta know on
Yeah.
how to rank locally
And
and
what
for
you should
and
spend
have
your time on.
and have certainty about it. Again, that's what I loved about it. I had certainty of what I had to do. Just follow the plan and do what you got to do and get it done. And now, in this day and age, it's easier to do than when we first started. We use a tool called Snaps. Kind of go over that real quick so they understand this is not nerdy HTML code.
Oh no, like my 9-year-old daughter can build a website on Snaps.
Yeah.
She could have done it 2 years ago if I'd let her, but I never let her near my computer. Snaps is an amazing platform. It was created by some people who have been in the trenches in the SEO world and
Mhm.
creating websites that rank. So Snap's websites rank very well. Snaps is also a platform that's created, like if you want to scale and start building out a lot of websites for businesses, it's super easy to do that. You kind of can plug in information and it can kind of multiply your pages for you. And then you have to go in and, update the content and the photos and things like that. But it's just a super easy platform. It's like drag and drop. It's very
Mhm.
intuitive. They've built a lot of AI into it now, and they're constantly adding new stuff, which I love. There's so many features, and yeah, it's just a really wonderful platform. I'll
So
never, hopefully, never have to use anything else again
yeah,
but that.
and it's really specifically made for that local website. And if you want to scale this, we got into it because I had the free time to build, we call them money sites, to where we would research niches, asphalt repair as an example. We would create websites for that niche and rank that site and then find the business that needed the extra to do the work. So they weren't our employee and all that. That we didn't get between them and their money, but they agreed to pay us either per job or a flat fee. So I owned, like, what, I was up to like 20, sites at one time. And that's why I got into the SEO to begin with. So you have that option as well as a separate revenue source, a full-time income, way, even more than a full-time income, going that route with your free time and building those sites out. And we're going to discuss that in the training.
And there's money to be made just building websites. A lot of
Oh,
people,
yeah.
a lot of businesses don't even have websites still. And you can go and charge, I mean, some people charge like $5,000 to $10,000 for a
Mm-hmm.
website. And using Snaps, you can get a website built in about 2 hours. So
Yep.
do the math right there. And
Especially once you know the tactics and all.
exactly.
Let's help them understand Google a little bit better. And, Google's the big guy in the block. What does Google want?
Well, so the way Google and any search engine works is you go in and you type what you're looking for. It's what either a question or a phrase or whatever. And Google has this huge database full of millions of websites.
And
And
you can't trick it. Let's make sure yeah.
and so Google wants to provide the best, most relevant results for whatever anybody's searching for.
Hmm.
And so in order for your website to possibly be considered to be shown in those search results, you need to be relevant, you need to be authoritative, you
Hmm.
need to have trust, value. That's pretty much
Hmm.
what they're looking for. And I'm not
Right.
going to give you all the details on how to do that
And
unless you get
yeah,
into the course. But I mean, that's what the course is all about, how to create a website that is relevant with the content and the authority and all of that stuff that I just mentioned.
right. And there's specific things that Google likes that we're going to teach you that the other guys don't do, or they do it poorly. The only last thing I want to say before you say your last is this skill set in this day and age, people, you can't get away from this. I mean, it's almost a disease. This is where the eyeballs are for your business, and there's no denying it. So learn the skill set for those eyeballs to be on your business. You are an exclusive club knowing this information when the other folks don't. Would you say that's true?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, like we mentioned, there's so many people out there that say they know how to do SEO and that they,
Mhm.
there's all kinds of SEO firms that people can hire and pay them a couple $100 a month to do SEO for their business, but none of them actually do what they're supposed to do, to
Or they
really,
string you along because
right,
they know that the longer they keep you from ranking, the longer their contract stays open.
right. And we've been doing this for years and years now. We've kind of seen what works, what doesn't work. And it's been the same thing that we've been doing from day one. If you follow what we have taught in this course, and I've never had a website tank,
It may drop
because
a space for a couple weeks and go to,
right, but then it
jump back.
goes right back up. And
Right.
so tried and true methods, I wouldn't be still be doing it if it didn't work because it just
Right.
it's my time. So
The amount of work that used to have to be done compared to now there's no comparison.
yeah,
You
that's for sure.
remember all my blog sites?
Oh yes.
Oh
I
God.
think I do allude to that in the
Yeah.
course at some point.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. You'll find
And
out.
just say we're not even going to talk about that. Yeah.
Please help.
PTSD from that for sure.
Exactly. So thank y'all and thank you, Aaron, for putting this together. And
Absolutely. Thank you.
we'll have a link in the description and all that. And I think that's it. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right.
All right.
Have a
Bye,
good one.
girl. You too.
Bye.